Friends, this is chapter number 3, Metals and Non-Metals of grade 10th Science. In this chapter, we will be learning about the physical properties of metals, the reactivity activity series of metals, how can we get a pure metal, okay, the difference, how can we get the metals from the concentration of an ore, how can we extract the metals depending on their activity series, how can we extract the metals, and what are ionic compounds, what are ionic bonds. So we will be doing in detail about all these topics in this chapter number 3, that is metals and non-metals. In grade 9th already we have discussed about the physical properties of metals and the non-metals. Okay, metals in the pure state have a shining surface. Okay, the any of the metals, iron hota hai, aluminium, everything is a metal. There are total 118 elements which are classified into metals, non-metals and metalloids. Okay, metals and non-metals properties we will be doing in this chapter, and metalloids have a combination properties of both metals and non-metals. So the first property of metal is that metals are in its pure state have a shining surface, and this shining property of a metal is known as metallic luster. Now the metals, generally the metals are hard. The hardness of the metal varies from metal to metal. Okay, there are different kinds of metal: sodium, potassium, copper, zinc. All these are metals and their hardness are different depending on their properties. Metals can be converted into or beaten into thin sheets. This property of the metals to convert themselves after hammering or beating, they are converted into thin sheets. This property of the metals is known as malleability. Okay, gold, silver, aluminium can be beaten and converted into thin sheets. You would have seen the silver foils, aluminium foils that we use for wrapping the food. All these are metals, but because of its property that it can be converted into thin sheets, we can convert these metals into thin sheets. Otherwise, we know that iron is very hard. We cannot beat it and convert it into very thin sheets, but it is very hard. How can we beat it and convert it? It is this property of the metals known as malleability. Now, next, it is ductible. Now, ductibility means the ability of the metals to be drawn into thin wires is called ductibility. Gold is the most ductile metal. With 1 gram of gold, you can convert 1 gram of gold into thin wire, and the length of the wire can be about 2 kilometers. So it is because of this property, that is malleability and ductibility, metals have different shapes according to we can convert metals into different shapes according to our needs. So that is why these metals are used for making vessels, making utensils, vessels for cooking and everything. Next is its property of conducting of heat and electricity. We already know that metals are good conductors of heat and it is good conductor of electricity. Okay, it has very high melting point. Okay, we have done the experiment in our previous standards, that with the help of this is a tripod stand. In that stand we have kept a rod. In that rod we have attached some nails with the help of candles. Now when we heat the end of the rod, the heat will be transferred from one end to another end. That is observed when the nails will fall down. So that means the metals can conduct electricity. It allows the heat to pass through it. But the best conductors of heat are silver and copper. Lead and mercury are comparatively poor conductors of heat. They are not insulators, they are just poor conductors of heat. Conductors means which can conduct electricity. Okay, electricity or heat. There are good conductors and poor conductors. Good conductors can conduct more amount of heat, and poor conductors do not conduct as much as a good conductor of heat as a good conductor of metal can do. Okay, so there is a difference between good conductor, bad conductors, and insulators. Insulators do not at all conduct electricity. Now next is, do metals also conduct electricity? Yes, we already discussed that metals will conduct electricity. Okay, so that experiment we can do with the help of attaching a battery to a bulb, and the bulb is directly attached to a wires. The wires at our homes it is of PVC or rubber like material. Why are electric wires coated with such substances? So that when the electricity is conducted to the wires, when we touch it, we won't get a shock. That's why it is circulated with insulators or PVC or rubber materials. Now the last property of the metal is that it is sonorous. Sonorous means on striking it hard it will produce sound. So because of this reason only the bells, and in earlier times you would have seen in the movies and all, you would have seen the bells at the school. The peon goes and take a wood rod and he will beat on a iron plate. So in this way, and thus they come to know that the lecture is completed or it is up the time for dispersal of the school. So why they were using that metal? Because of this property to produce sound. Next are non-metals. Non-metals properties are completely opposite of the metals. Metals are hard, non-metals are not so hard. Okay, metals have same physical properties almost, but it is completely opposite of it. Now it is not so hard, it is not malleable, it is not ductile, it do not conduct electricity, it is not sonorous. So these are the properties of non-metals. Some of the examples of non-metals are given here: carbon, sulfur, iodine, oxygen, hydrogen. All these are non-metals. Now there are some exceptional properties of metals and non-metals. Generally we know that metals are soft, but there are some metals which are not soft, which are not hard, they are soft. Some of the metals are, generally metals are solid, metals are hard and metals are solid in solid state, but there are few metals which are liquid at room temperature or the normal temperature. Now all the metals except mercury exist as solid at room temperature. Okay, so that is why they have high melting point, but gallium and cesium have very low melting point, and gallium and cesium will start melting even if you keep it on your palm, because our normal body temperature is 37 degrees Celsius. So cesium and gallium can also be converted into a liquid form in our palm also. Iodine, generally we discuss that non-metals are non-lustrous, non-metals are not shining, but iodine is a non-metal which is lustrous. Carbon is a non-metal, but it can be exist in different forms. There are different allotropes of carbon. Allotropes of carbon means they have some different physical properties and they have some different structural properties. Diamond, graphite, fullerene, all are the allotropes of carbon. It is formed by joining many units of carbon are joined and they will form a long chain, cyclic chain, and they will be forming diamond, graphite and everything. Diamond, which is an allotrope of carbon, is the hardest natural substance. Carbon is non-metal, but its allotrope diamond is hard. Graphite, generally we know that non-metals do not conduct electricity, but graphite is an allotrope of carbon, which is a non-metal, and it can conduct electricity. Now the alkali metals like lithium, sodium and potassium are so soft that they can be cut with a knife. It's because they have low densities and low melting points. So on this basis it is divided into metals and non-metals. Generally these non-metals produce acidic oxides. Okay, generally these non-metals produce acidic oxides when dissolved in water. Okay, so on the other hand, metals give rise to basic oxides. This property of the metals and non-metals we have already discussed in chapter number 2 when we were learning about metal oxides and non-metallic oxides, the reaction of metals and acid and base with metallic oxides and non-metallic oxides. Now next we will be doing the reaction, how do metals react with solutions of how do metals react with the solutions of other metal salts.